When a company like Tesla issues a recall, the world listens. This week, Tesla announced it would recall 12 963 vehicles in the United States, specifically the 2025 Model 3 and 2026 Model Y, after discovering a potential defect in a critical component of the high-voltage battery system known as the contactor. At first glance, the numbers might not seem huge compared to the hundreds of thousands of Teslas on American roads. Yet this event has sparked serious conversation among analysts, owners, and even investors. Because in Tesla's world, where every component is increasingly software-defined, a small hardware flaw can raise big questions about reliability, quality control, and the pace of innovation. According to Car and Driver, the issue lies in a battery contactor, an electromechanical switch that connects or disconnects the battery pack from the vehicle's powertrain. If that contactor malfunctions, it can interrupt the flow of electricity between the battery and the motor. In practical terms, that means one thing: no driver ever wants to hear a sudden loss of driving power. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, confirmed that while no accidents or injuries have been reported so far, Tesla is acting out of what it calls an abundance of caution. Owners will be notified to install an over-the-air OTA software update, and if needed, Tesla service centers will replace the affected hardware at no cost. It's a move consistent with the company's playbook, fixing what can be solved by code first, then replacing what can't. Why this matters now? Tesla's recall comes at an interesting time in the company's timeline. Just weeks ago, it celebrated record global deliveries for Q3 2025, unveiled FSD V14, and pushed major software updates, version 25.38, across its fleet. The brand was basking in the glow of technological leadership, rolling out self-driving features in Australia and New Zealand, testing robotaxis in Arizona, and gearing up for the long-awaited Redwood EV next year. And yet, this recall is a sharp reminder that even the most advanced electric vehicle maker is not immune to the age-old challenges of manufacturing. For Tesla, the problem isn't just mechanical, it's reputational. Every recall feeds the ongoing debate. Is Tesla moving too fast? Can a company that updates cars as easily as smartphones maintain the same reliability standards as legacy automakers that have spent decades perfecting quality control? The answer depends on perspective. Supporters argue that Tesla's ability to issue rapid OTA fixes makes recalls less disruptive than those of traditional automakers, who often need months to replace parts through dealers. Critics counter that the very frequency of these updates, both software and hardware, signals a culture of ship now, patch later. Setting the stage. To understand why this incident has attracted so much attention, it helps to remember how Tesla's recall history has evolved. In 2022 and 2023, many of its recalls were software-based, involving issues like seatbelt chimes or brake light calibration. Owners didn't have to visit a service center, they simply woke up to a notification. Update installed, problem fixed. But the battery contactor is different. It's physical. It's the literal heartbeat connecting Tesla's battery pack, the most expensive component, to its dual motors. When a contactor fails even briefly, the system can detect a current imbalance and immediately cut power to prevent a short circuit or fire risk. That's why Tesla isn't taking chances even without a single confirmed crash. The recall also sheds light on Tesla's supply chain strategy. As the company continues to localize more component production in North America, certain parts, especially high-voltage connectors, are being redesigned for greater efficiency. This recall may highlight the tension between innovation speed and long-term durability testing. Public and market reaction. Unsurprisingly, the news made headlines across major automotive outlets within hours. Social media reactions ranged from calm acknowledgement to full-blown panic. On Tesla forums, some owners shared screenshots of their service notifications. Others joked that another week, another update has become a regular part of Tesla ownership. In the financial markets, however, the response was relatively muted. Tesla's stock dipped less than 1% on the day of the announcement, proof that investors have grown accustomed to such events, viewing them as operational hiccups rather than existential threats. After all, traditional automakers like Ford, Toyota, or GM recall millions of vehicles each year for issues far more severe. Still, the underlying question remains: when does routine recall become a pattern that risks brand perception? Framing the big picture. Tesla's philosophy has always been about iteration at scale. The company doesn't just release cars, it releases platforms that continuously evolve through code. That strategy has revolutionized the auto industry, but also blurred the line between innovation and experimentation. This recall forces us to confront that paradox head-on. Is Tesla's rapid update model the future of automotive safety, where bugs are fixed instantly via OTA, or a risky game of trial and error on public roads? For now, what's clear is that Tesla remains one of the few automakers capable of turning a potential crisis into an engineering lesson. Within days of the announcement, engineers were already rolling out diagnostic tools to identify faulty contactors remotely. And just like that, a problem that might have taken months to address a decade ago could be largely contained through a software push. Closing of Task 1. In short, the recall of 12 963 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles might appear small in scale, but its implications reach far beyond numbers. It's a snapshot of Tesla's evolving identity, a company balancing on the tightrope between cutting-edge progress and engineering discipline. As the story unfolds, we'll look deeper into the data, the response, and what this means for the broader EV landscape. The word recall often conjures images of broken parts and service bays. But Tesla's latest recall reveals something subtler: a convergence of software logic, electrical engineering, and regulatory oversight, the triad that defines modern EV safety. According to Car and Driver, Tesla's filing with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, describes the issue as a potential loss of motive power due to intermittent battery contactor operation. That phrase might sound dense, but let's unpack what it really means. Understanding the contactor. Inside every Tesla lies a complex dance of electrons. The high-voltage contactor functions as a gatekeeper. It connects the massive lithium-ion battery pack, roughly 400 to 800 volts, depending on model, to the inverter and motors when the vehicle starts, and disconnects it when the car shuts down or senses danger. If the contactor opens unexpectedly while driving, current flow stops, similar to pulling the plug on a running machine. The driver suddenly loses propulsion, even though auxiliary systems like lights or steering assist may stay active for a short time. In traditional gasoline cars, a fuel pump failure might cause the engine to stall. In an EV, a failed contactor produces the same gut-dropping sensation silence where power once roared. Tesla's detection systems. Tesla vehicles constantly monitor internal resistance voltage differences and temperature across the battery pack. When a contactor behaves abnormally, opening too slowly, chattering, or registering inconsistent resistance, the car throws a fault code and, in severe cases, cuts power preemptively to avoid electrical arcing. In the affected 20 and 25 Model 3 and 26 Model Y units, Tesla engineers discovered that a specific batch of contactors from one supplier exhibited higher wear rates under rapid cycling conditions. That's engineer speak for they don't like being switched on and off too often. While failures are rare, the company traced multiple diagnostic alerts to the same component family. Rather than wait for an incident, Tesla filed a voluntary recall notice with NHTSA. Scope and immediate action. The filing covers exactly 12 963 vehicles built between January and September 2025. Tesla reports that about 2% might contain the faulty part, but all vehicles in the batch will receive an OTA diagnostic update to detect early degradation. Owners are being notified through the Tesla app and email. The fix involves installing a software patch that expands fault detection thresholds and prevents premature cutoff. Scheduling a hardware replacement at service centers if the system identifies a suspect contactor. Tesla emphasizes that no crashes, injuries, or fires have been linked to the defect, a point corroborated by NHTSA's safety database. Context in Tesla's recall history. This is not Tesla's first encounter with high-voltage components. In 2022, the company recalled certain Model S and X units for inverter grounding issues. In 2023, it issued a software recall to fix regenerative braking calibration. However, most previous recalls were software-only resolved by OTA updates within days. The current case blends both worlds. It shows Tesla's hybrid safety model, digital triage, followed by mechanical surgery. And because all modern Teslas are permanently online, the company can pinpoint affected VINs instantly, a capability that legacy automakers are only beginning to replicate. Regulatory and engineering transparency. Tesla submitted detailed technical bulletins to NHTSA's Office of Defects Investigation. ODI outlining test conditions, material analysis, and failure rate projections. Documents reviewed by Reuters indicate the contactor supplier performed accelerated life cycle testing after field reports surfaced. The issue appears rooted in a coil spring tolerance variance, a minor design deviation that can reduce clamping force when exposed to high vibration. To regulators, Tesla's cooperation marks progress. Historically, the company has been criticized for delayed reporting. This time, it moved proactively before any incident was logged. NHTSA's summary even notes Tesla has responded promptly and provided comprehensive data supporting voluntary action. Industry comparison. It's worth noting that Tesla's 13,000 vehicle recall pales beside recent recalls from other EV makers. Ford F-150 Lightning 2024, 44,000 units recalled for battery cell contamination. Chevrolet Bolt EV 2021, 140,000 units for potential battery fire risk. Rivian R1T R1S 2023, 12,700 vehicles for steering column fastener torque. These numbers reveal that Tesla's event is moderate in scale, more about engineering diligence than crisis management. Yet, because Tesla dominates media attention, even small recalls can echo loudly in headlines. Why it matters technically. High-voltage contactors are not mere switches, they're safety devices. When they fail, they can generate heat weld, shut, or arc, creating cascading risks for the power electronics. That's why automakers design them with multiple redundancies, dual contacts, magnetic blowouts, and software watchdogs. Tesla's system includes a pre-charge circuit that limits inrush current before the contactor closes and real-time current sensing that detects anomalies within milliseconds. The OTA patch released this week enhances those diagnostics by introducing adaptive thresholds based on driver behavior, city versus highway patterns, to catch subtle warning signs earlier. It's a clever use of the very thing that sets Tesla apart: data. every Tesla transmits anonymized performance metrics back to the company's servers. That feedback loop lets engineers identify weak points long before they turn dangerous. In effect, Tesla has turned its global fleet into a living laboratory, one that evolves with every mile driven. Economic and operational implications. While the direct cost of replacing a contactor is relatively low, under $500 per unit, including labor, the broader implication lies in brand reliability. Tesla's 2025 strategy revolves around expanding robotaxi testing and introducing lower-cost EVs like the Redwood. Any question about component durability can ripple through investor sentiment and regulatory scrutiny. Still, Tesla's speed in diagnosing and containing the issue could reinforce confidence rather than erode it. Analyst Dan Ives of Wedbush Securities told Business Insider, "This is the Tesla paradox. Every recall makes headlines, but their ability to fix issues through code is unmatched in the industry." A broader view of EV safety. The recall also highlights a transition underway across the entire EV sector. As vehicles become more software-centric, the boundary between mechanical defect and algorithmic oversight blurs. Future recalls may not involve physical parts at all, just lines of code. Tesla's collaboration with regulators here sets an important precedent. Combining OTA capability with transparent reporting could become the new standard for EV compliance. In the end, this recall tells two stories. The first is a technical one of a small component that misbehaved under stress. The second is cultural, of a company learning to balance its Silicon Valley speed with Detroit-style accountability. Tesla may have built the car of the future, but as this episode proves, the future still needs quality control. When Tesla recalls 13,000 vehicles, the story instantly becomes global news. When another automaker recalls 10 times that number, it often passes with little notice. That difference says a lot about Tesla's unique place in the industry, not just as a car company, but as a cultural phenomenon. The recent recall of T5 Model 3 and Twex Model Y vehicles is more than a mechanical correction. It's a mirror reflecting Tesla's broader influence, its reputation for speed, and the pressures that come with being the face of the electric revolution. Legacy carmakers are no strangers to recalls. Ford, Toyota, and General Motors routinely recall millions of cars every year. In contrast, Tesla's recall volumes are relatively small and often resolved through software updates that take just hours. While traditional manufacturers rely on dealerships and complex logistics, Tesla's vertically integrated ecosystem allows it to push over-the-air patches directly to owners' cars. In this case, about 13,000 Teslas will receive an automated diagnostic update to monitor the health of their battery contactors, a fix that in the past might have required a trip to a workshop and weeks of waiting. It's a futuristic approach that feels more Silicon Valley than Detroit. Yet that very speed invites its own scrutiny. If Tesla can fix issues instantly, some critics ask, does that mean they're testing thoroughly enough before release? When we compare Tesla's recall to other EV makers, the difference in scale and perception becomes clear. Ford recalled over 40,000 F-150 Lightning trucks last year due to potential battery contamination. Rivian pulled back 12,000 vehicles for steering column bolts. Chevrolet replaced 140,000 battery packs in its Bolt EV lineup because of fire risk. Against those numbers, Tesla's 13,000-unit recall looks relatively modest, but media visibility changes everything. A recall by Tesla isn't treated as routine maintenance. It's treated as a referendum on innovation itself. That's the price of being a company that sells both cars and ideas. Financially, the market barely flinched. Tesla's stock slipped less than 1% on the day of the announcement, stabilizing near $284 a share. Analysts called it a maintenance-level correction, not a structural problem. Investors are less concerned about this specific component than about what it represents for Tesla's upcoming phase, especially as the company prepares for the mass-market Redwood EV and the long-anticipated robo-taxi program. The question isn't whether Tesla can fix a contactor. It's whether the company can scale its manufacturing discipline as fast as its ambition. Among customers and fans, reactions followed familiar lines. Loyal owners praised Tesla for acting transparently and proactively. Skeptics accused the company of normalizing defects under the guise of software updates. One Bloomberg column put it bluntly, "Tesla can fix cars faster than anyone, but speed doesn't always equal trust." For many drivers, the word recall still triggers emotional unease, even when the fix is as simple as downloading a patch. It's a reminder that the relationship between Tesla and its customers is built not only on technology, but also on faith. The belief that a company moving this fast still keeps safety as its core. Historically, Tesla has weathered similar storms with little long-term damage. The Model Y remains America's best-selling EV and owner satisfaction remains high. But repeated small recalls do chip away at the aura of invincibility that once surrounded the brand. Competitors like Hyundai, Kia, and BYD are using that narrative to their advantage, emphasizing reliability and manufacturing precision over Tesla's continuous beta culture. Their message is subtle but effective: perfection through patience, not perpetual updates. Yet Tesla still commands a loyalty most automakers can only dream of. For many owners, an update notification on their app feels less like a repair and more like a gift, a new feature, overnight proof that their car is evolving. Strategically, Tesla's ability to handle recalls digitally is reshaping the industry. Regulators at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration are now considering new classifications for software-based recalls, acknowledging that companies with OTA capabilities can mitigate risks faster and cheaper than those relying on physical interventions. Tesla's process could become the template for a new regulatory era, one that prizes data connectivity and remote diagnostics as essential safety tools. But that same agility raises expectations. If Tesla can fix problems in hours, regulators will expect it to detect them even earlier. The speed that once defined Tesla's advantage may soon define its accountability. Culturally, each Tesla recall adds to the mythology surrounding Elon Musk's empire. His companies operate in cycles of tension and resolution. A problem emerges, chaos brews, innovation prevails. Every setback becomes another story about pushing limits. Fans see it as proof that Tesla learns faster than anyone else. Critics see it as confirmation that the company sometimes tests on its customers. Either way, both sides keep talking, and that constant attention paradoxically reinforces Tesla's dominance. A flawless, quiet Tesla would fade into the background. A controversial, self-correcting Tesla stays in the spotlight. In today's media landscape, visibility is power. What makes this recall fascinating is what it reveals about Tesla's operating DNA. The company's average response time from issue detection to public action is measured in days, not months. Its OTA-first model slashes service costs and keeps owners engaged directly. And its global data network, millions of vehicles feeding back real-time telemetry, transforms every problem into a learning opportunity. But such advantages come with responsibility. As Tesla leans deeper into autonomy, AI-driven maintenance, and distributed diagnostics, it must ensure that cybersecurity, data, privacy, and hardware redundancy evolve at the same pace as its software. For the broader EV market, Tesla's recall is less a failure than a stress test. It proves that even in a world of electric propulsion, mechanical realities persist. Fewer moving parts don't mean fewer risks. They simply shift the frontier of reliability from metal to code. The companies that thrive in this new era will be those that merge both worlds seamlessly, engineering precision with digital reflexes. Measured by numbers, this recall is small. Measured by influence, it's monumental. It reminds consumers, regulators, and competitors alike that the EV revolution is still in its adolescence, fast. Ambitious, occasionally flawed, but constantly evolving. And in that evolution, Tesla continues to lead, not because it's perfect, but because it's willing to adapt in public at full speed with the world watching. Every recall tests a company's engineering discipline, but at Tesla, it also tests its philosophy. Behind the scenes, this latest issue with the Model 3 and Model Y contactors isn't just a technical setback, it's a window into how Tesla thinks, reacts, and evolves under pressure. Inside the company, there's an unwritten rule that defines every crisis move: fast, fix, faster. It's not just a slogan, it's a survival mechanism. Elon Musk has long described Tesla as a company that learns in real time. "We iterate toward perfection, not away from it," he once said. To outsiders, that sounds like tech industry jargon. But to Tesla engineers, it's the core of their workflow. When an anomaly like the contactor issue appears, Tesla doesn't bury it in bureaucracy. Engineers swarm the data dashboards, parsing voltage logs, fault codes, and service center reports. Within hours, a global team spanning Palo Alto, Berlin, and Shanghai begins modeling failure scenarios on digital twins. The company treats every vehicle on the road as part of a living laboratory, a self-reporting organism constantly feeding new information back into the system. That feedback loop, powered by telemetry, is what gives Tesla its astonishing reflexes. This culture of velocity didn't appear overnight. It was forged in chaos in early production lines of the Model 3, where robots misaligned panels in the Fremont factory, where employees slept beside machines to meet deadlines, in the moments when Musk himself grabbed a wrench to show that no job was beneath him. Those experiences hardened the company's ethos. Perfection is an illusion, but progress is mandatory. That mindset explains why Tesla can turn a defect into a data point and a recall into a lesson plan. In most automakers, a recall triggers a chain of command. At Tesla, it triggers a code push. But speed cuts both ways. The same drive that makes Tesla agile can also make it vulnerable to overconfidence. Critics argue that a ship now fix later mentality borrowed from Silicon Valley doesn't translate cleanly to machines that move 2 tons at 70 miles per hour. Software glitches can be patched. Physical components can't. Inside Tesla, however, that criticism fuels constant reinvention. Teams are now embedding machine learning algorithms into factory testing rigs, using AI to detect microscopic variances in parts like the contactor springs that caused this latest recall. The goal isn't just to catch errors earlier, it's to make errors impossible to hide. This approach ties directly to Tesla's broader strategy, known internally as safety through software. The idea is radical that safety can be improved continuously, not certified once. Most automakers freeze their safety models at the time of homologation. Tesla treats them as living systems. The same philosophy underpins the full self-driving FSD program. Each version learns not only from its own data, but from every other Tesla on the road. When a Model Y in California encounters an unexpected sensor glitch, the lesson propagates to thousands of cars worldwide within days. The contactor recall follows the same logic, a local failure turned into a global fix. Elon Musk's leadership amplifies this ethos. His management style has been described as volcanic focus intense, confrontational, but also galvanizing. In internal meetings, he demands that engineers present solutions, not excuses. When a subsystem fails, he reframes the conversation around resilience. How can we ensure this never happens again, even under worst-case conditions? Employees often recall his mantra, "If a part can fail, eliminate the part." That's why Tesla continues to simplify its vehicles year after year, reducing wiring harnesses, consolidating ECUs, and merging mechanical components under single-piece castings. Fewer parts mean fewer potential recalls, and a manufacturing process closer to software compilation than assembly. Tesla's crisis management playbook reflects this same minimalism. The moment an issue reaches the public domain, communication channels activate like clockwork. The Tesla app alerts owners, directly eliminating the delays typical of traditional recall letters. Engineering teams issue a technical bulletin to service centers, while the communications team crafts a single data-driven statement for regulators and the press. Musk's X, formerly Twitter account, often becomes the unofficial newswire, broadcasting updates in plain, sometimes provocative language. The result is transparency mixed with theater, a style uniquely Tesla's, both admired and criticized. Inside the company, there's also an emotional layer to every recall. Many employees are longtime owners themselves. They take defects personally. When a problem emerges, it's not a corporate embarrassment, it's a bruise on collective pride. Engineers who worked on the battery system reportedly volunteered to assist service technicians during the early stages of this recall, ensuring that replacements met updated quality standards. That sense of ownership, more than any policy, keeps Tesla's engine of innovation turning. It's not fear of failure that drives them, it's the refusal to stop learning. Strategically, the recall aligns with Tesla's broader shift toward predictive maintenance. The company's AI infrastructure dojo, originally built to train autonomous driving networks, is now being adapted to monitor hardware reliability across the fleet. By cross-referencing vibration patterns, temperature fluctuations, and driving environments, Tesla's models can flag emerging component risks before they appear in service data. The contactor issue may become the catalyst for a new internal project, a system where the car not only reports problems, but anticipates them. From a business standpoint, Musk understands that transparency in a recall can be more valuable than secrecy. In 2020, when legacy automakers faced airbag lawsuits and emissions scandals, Tesla turned each of its minor recalls into proof of its digital advantage. It wasn't just fixing cars, it was reinventing what a recall could mean. Today, that strategy still pays off. Analysts see the company's speed and candor as signs of maturity rather than instability. Tesla doesn't pretend to be flawless. It positions itself as a company that fails forward. Yet the larger question remains, can Tesla maintain this rhythm as it scales to millions more vehicles and new product lines like the robo-taxi and Optimus humanoid robot? The answer depends on whether its culture, forged in the adrenaline of innovation, can coexist with the discipline of mass production. As Tesla transitions from disruptor to establishment, every recall becomes a test of balance between boldness and restraint. Musk often says that building a car company is 1,000% harder than building software. His engineers know the truth behind that line, that every bolt, every line of code, every contactor must now live up to the expectations of a brand synonymous with the future. In the end, this recall might be remembered not for the number of cars affected, but for the clarity it brought to Tesla's identity. It showed a company that doesn't fear imperfection, a workforce that sees mistakes as momentum, and a leader who believes that progress is the only constant. For Tesla, recalls aren't reputational damage, they're evolutionary checkpoints. And if history is any guide, each one brings the company a step closer to its ultimate goal. a world where vehicles repair themselves, learn from each other, and redefine what safety means in motion. Every story about Tesla ends where it begins, at the intersection of innovation and uncertainty. The recall of nearly 13,000 Model 3 and Model Y vehicles may seem small compared to the company's massive global footprint, yet its ripple effects extend far beyond a single hardware defect. It captures the essence of Tesla's journey, a company learning in public, transforming every challenge into an opportunity to redefine what a car, a company, and an industry can be. When Tesla announced the recall, some saw it as a blemish on its image of technological perfection. But others, including analysts and longtime followers, saw something deeper, a sign of maturity. Tesla didn't wait for government pressure or viral videos of breakdowns. It identified a pattern in the data filed with regulators voluntarily and offered a fix before the issue escalated. In a world where automakers often react to crises instead of preventing them, that move reflects a culture that has evolved. The recall wasn't an admission of failure, it was a declaration of vigilance. That vigilance is crucial as Tesla stands on the brink of its most ambitious expansion yet. The coming year will bring new models, new factories, and new forms of technology that blur the line between vehicle and software platform. The $25,000 Redwood EV set to debut in 2026 promises to bring Tesla's design philosophy to the mass market. Meanwhile, the robotaxi fleet aims to transform mobility itself, replacing the concept of ownership with a network of self-driving electric shuttles. These goals require not only innovation, but also bulletproof reliability. A minor contactor recall today serves as a timely reminder that even the smallest link in the chain matters when the world is watching. Tesla's competitors are paying attention. Rivian, Lucid, BYD, and Hyundai have all studied Tesla's OTA infrastructure and real-time data systems, trying to replicate its ability to identify and resolve issues at scale. In the next decade, predictive maintenance may become as important as battery chemistry in determining who leads the EV market. Tesla's advantage lies not only in its hardware or AI, but in the ecosystem. It has built a feedback loop where every mile driven feeds into a smarter, safer fleet. The recall demonstrates that ecosystem in action, a live test of Tesla's ability to detect, communicate, and evolve faster than traditional automakers ever could. But there's a broader conversation here, one that extends beyond Tesla. The automotive industry is entering a new era where software, not steel, defines value. Cars are no longer static products. They are dynamic systems that age, learn, and adapt. This shift changes the meaning of a recall. What used to be a costly logistical nightmare is becoming a line of code, a data correction, a real-time update. Tesla didn't invent this idea, but it has become the most visible proof of concept. The company has turned what once symbolized failure into a process of improvement, public, immediate, and measurable. Still, challenges remain. As cars become more connected, cybersecurity grows as a shadow threat. Regulators worry that the same systems enabling over-the-air safety fixes could also become entry points for hackers. Data privacy is another concern. Millions of Teslas continuously sending performance logs to the cloud raises questions about surveillance, consent, and corporate control. Tesla insists that all data is anonymized and used to enhance safety. But as the company's influence expands, so does the need for transparent governance. Innovation always comes with responsibility, and Tesla is learning to navigate that balance in real time. Financially, the recall is a footnote, the kind of event that barely registers on quarterly reports. But from a brand perspective, it carries weight. Tesla's identity has always been tied to the idea of relentless progress, of learning faster than anyone else. Each recall, each software update, each controversy adds another layer to that narrative. It's the story of a company that refuses to stand still, even if it means stumbling forward. That attitude, for better or worse, has become Tesla's greatest strength. It keeps the brand alive in public consciousness, not as a finished product, but as a work in motion. From a regulatory standpoint, Tesla's proactive engagement with the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration during this recall may set new precedents. Agencies around the world are studying how software-defined vehicles fit into decades-old safety laws written for mechanical cars. As governments modernize their frameworks, Tesla's recall process, fast, transparent, data-driven, could become the model for how the industry operates. The very word recall might soon lose its old meaning, replaced by a concept more fitting for the digital age: live maintenance. Looking forward, Tesla's biggest challenge may not be mechanical or financial, but philosophical. Can a company built on the chaos of constant innovation sustain its pace without losing control? Can it balance speed with stability as its vehicles become both smarter and more autonomous? Elon Musk's leadership thrives on pressure, but the next chapter of Tesla will depend on systems, not charisma. The company's future lies in automation, in machines monitoring machines, in algorithms learning from their own mistakes faster than humans ever could. If there's one lesson this recall teaches, it's that progress is messy. Building the future means accepting imperfection, confronting it, and improving it in full view of the world. Tesla doesn't hide its growing pains. It broadcasts them, fixes them, and turns them into momentum. The recall of 13,000 cars might make headlines today, but in the bigger picture, it's another proof of Tesla's evolutionary rhythm. Test, learn, adapt, repeat. And that rhythm is contagious. Every competitor forced to improve their update systems. Every regulator rewriting standards. Every consumer expecting faster service. All are responding to Tesla's pace. Whether people love or hate the company, they react to it. That gravitational pull is what keeps Tesla ahead even in moments of vulnerability. The company's power isn't just in its technology, it's in its ability to make the entire industry move. As this story closes, one question remains for the audience. What does progress look like to you? Is it a perfect product that never fails, or a living machine that learns every day? Tesla has chosen its answer to evolve publicly, relentlessly, and without apology. And if this recall is any indication, the company is still writing the rulebook for how the future of transportation will be built one update at a time. So when the headlines fade and the data settles, what remains isn't the flaw that caused a recall. It's the philosophy that turned it into a step forward. Tesla doesn't fear its imperfections, it refines them. And in that relentless pursuit, the company continues to redefine what safety, progress, and innovation mean in the 21st century.